Six Flags Over Georgia contains a solid roller coaster collection filled with great rides from high thrill machines to family-friendly attractions. Even the rides outside of the roller coasters are some of the best of its kind. There were many surprises, and I was not disappointed by the overall experience of the park, which is why Six Flags Over Georgia has always been on my radar of parks to visit. I finally got the chance to visit the amusement park, so I'll be ranking all of the roller coasters I rode. Six Flags is home to some of the greatest roller coasters, and Six Flags Over Georgia is no exception. Here are the roller coasters. Unfortunately, a lot of rides were closed on my visit. I was looking forward to riding several roller coasters, but the park's maintenance had other plans. Although this gives me another reason to come back out to the park for another visit. But I think from the rides I've ridden, I have a good idea of the park's roller coaster collection. And I'm glad the closures weren't any of the major roller coasters I'd anticipated riding since Six Flags Over Georgia was first on my bucket list. However, from the similar roller coasters I've ridden, I will make an estimation of their placements. Starting off is the park's stand-up roller coaster. Manufactured by the Swiss manufacturer B&M, there's plenty of great inversions and switchbacks to keep riders engaged. Although I'm not a fan of the stand-up gimmick, I have to appreciate a good layout when I see one. While I did not have the time on my visit to ride their newest roller coaster edition, Georgia Gold Rusher, it appears to be a fun ride. The ride model is seen at a few Six Flags parks, but at each park I've visited, I found them to have an extremely long line and never put in the effort to ride them. But I'd expect to rank it somewhere around the 9 spot. The same could be said for Blue Hawk. I did not get a ride due to maintenance, but I'd anticipate the placement to be in a similar spot. Located in the DC section of the park is an intensity machine, Riddler Mindbender. Schwarzkopf roller coasters have some of the best positive Gs, and this ride is another great example. With a great helix paired with crushing positive Gs in 2 vertical loops as you work down a hill is a recipe for a solid ride. It's a great supporting coaster that stands against Father Time. The same statement applies to Great American Scream Machine, an older wooden roller coaster but still thrilling riders today. The structure is massive and spans a large area of the park, allowing for a long ride paired with great views secluded from other attractions. Racing the water with splintering airtime is an experience that I did not anticipate experiencing. I was honestly very shocked by the ride's performance in the face of many hate comments towards the ride. The criticism is really overkill, and I think it is a great roller coaster. The original B&M Flyer in the United States and the first Superman Ultimate Flight roller coaster of the clones. This ride is a special ride. When compared to the other roller coasters of the clones, it's obvious that the attraction fits the hillside better than the other roller coasters. Not to mention, any pretzel loop is one of the greatest inversions. But while the other rides may be labeled as more one-trick ponies, this roller coaster differs with its close to the ground encounters and tunnel. I'm glad that the park decided to take a gamble with the flying coaster model. Another clone is located in the DC section of the park. This Batman the Ride roller coaster may also just be the best of its kind. Although it is not the original and won't have the same terrain interactions, it's got more power and whip than its other versions. The intensity of the Batman the Ride clones are truly underappreciated, as they always feel out of control. Whenever I see one of these rides, I will always make an attempt to ride it. A ride that was absolutely shattered by my expectations was Daredevil Dive. Gerstlauer manufactured one of their best works at Over Georgia. The roller coaster seems to have it all: airtime, inversions, and laterals. Even a moment of strong hang time. It's really a great ride and a perfect fit. Whenever I see the ride, I can't help but to have flashbacks of a different ride. But setting the comparisons aside, it's a super unique ride and a must experience when visiting the park. I was blown away by how great this roller coaster was. I'll be honest, the ride I was most excited for was Twisted Cyclone. To say it met those expectations is an understatement. Like Daredevil Dive, I was blown away. The second I got through the front gate, I made sure to head to Twisted Cyclone right away to get a ride. The presentation is very well done, and the colors of the ride look great. Not to mention, did anybody hear that RMC lift? Because I sure didn't. Also, the stats of Twisted Cyclone are not the most impressive, so I wasn't expecting much. But when the ride started, I couldn't be more than wrong. Even the pre-lift section was very well done. I think this is the best RMC pre-lift I've ever experienced, and this is before the roller coaster even began. Because the first drop is out of this world. Those twisted RMC drops are the best out there. Back row flings riders out laterally, and for a drop half the size of other RMCs, it manages to pack just as much airtime and thrill. A great example of a short but powerful ride.
Check it out.
It's hard to beat a ride like Goliath. This is the park's 200-foot ride, and the roller coaster has some amazing drops, as it feels like the first 3 hills get taller and taller. And that's because it does. After the 200-foot chain lift is a 170-foot drop. Then it's a hill with a 175-foot drop. Literally 5 feet taller than the first drop. This is not only unusual, but leads to a 540-degree helix that isn't found on any other rides of the B&M Hyper Roller Coaster model. What I love most about the ride, besides its uniqueness, is the successive airtime hills. It feels like the ride never ends, and each element is perfect with floater airtime. With no mid-course brake run, you are in for a fun ride.